Hello and welcome to Northside NOW. This is the podcast where your three lovable hosts take you on a tour through all of the ministries and the latest happenings around Northside Church to keep you better connected with your church family. I'm your host, Patrick, and with me as always is Glenn Miller and Kevin Bryant.
Good afternoon or morning or whatever it is. Whoop, whoop.
Our enigmatic man of mystery, Kevin Bryant.
There he is. And he's making us feel bad because he's all dressed up today.
I know. I didn't get the memo.
Dress up for my Lord. What can I say?
I tell you. I mean, he looks...
After Easter, I've just got this.
He's just stayed in that yellow suit. He hasn't taken it off. Started to smell a little bit.
That was a lot of fun. Easter was just a great weekend. Hey, I've got some shocking news for you guys.
All right, we're ready.
I read where the Dead Sea is dying.
Oh, no. I thought it was already dead.
It must be even more deader, I guess.
That's sad.
But it's, and it's interesting. I don't know. Some people would say global warming or whatever, but it is interesting that what I was reading is that more fresh water is coming in. Of course, it's salt water.
Yeah.
I thought it was just salt. Is there water in there
too?
too?
It's only salt. Have you, either of you been?
I haven't. I know a few people that have been, but
I've seen pictures, and that's close enough.
Well, you're supposed to be able to really float because of the salt content and all that. But it's actually a lake. It's not as big as the Mediterranean Sea or anything. But apparently, the fresh water is coming in. It's diluting that, and underneath the lake bed is a lot of layers of salt. And so, as the fresh water comes in, it actually dissolves the structure underneath, and there's sinkholes and things like that. So it's going down about 3 to 5 feet a year. That's what they said. So that's interesting, sign of the time, so to speak. But there's just like in California, there's this issue with fresh water for drinking.
Yeah.
Right? So the aquifers and everything we're blessed really in this part of the country to have a really good water supply.
Yeah.
But in the Middle East, of course, and in California, there's this issue as well. But there's so much demand from the population that the aquifers are drying up too. And there's this water shortage, just like we've experienced here in the States in parts. And so it's got all these climate things that are at least related to the climate. And rainfall. It's actually raining, I think, a lot more is what I read there. And that's why fresh water is getting into the
It's like dissolving
sea.
the salt.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So it's just, that stuff's interesting to me. But I saw that come up on my feed. I thought I'd share with you.
Well, I finally got around to watching starting The Chosen series.
I did too.
And the Nicodemus makes a joke about the Dead Sea in the first episode.
Yeah.
So that's what I just thought of when you said that.
Well, I told y'all that was good.
Yeah,
It's actually... I've watched the first 2 episodes now, and it is definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, I'm still on number 1, so don't spoil it for me.
Okay.
But no,
No.
What's really fascinating to me is the story behind it.
Yeah, that is really cool.
I listened to the interview with Dallas Jenkins, the director, and he's been involved in media and this kind of thing for a long time, but he wasn't quite getting to where he wanted to be, and he wasn't working, as much and enough, and he was. He landed at a position in a church and was doing media and things like that. Patrick, this is right up your alley. And he got attached to a project, a big film, and he thought, okay, this is going to be my breakthrough project. And he got a lot of Hollywood backing and some other things. And I don't remember if it was a particularly religious project or not. I don't know if you've seen that interview, but it totally bombed. I mean, like the first day, nobody, really watched it. And so everything died. And he said, this is the end of my career. This project was backed by like Universal and people you wouldn't expect, like WWE and stuff like this.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't know what the project was, but he said, and somewhere in that process, he just found a piece of, you know what, if I never make another film again, I'm okay with that. God's got me. Et cetera, et cetera. It was really a story of faith. And then he was doing some work for the church and had this little Christmas, I think it was a Christmas Eve project that he did, a short film. And some producer in Hollywood kind of circles saw it and said, I want to produce your next project. What is it? And he's like, well, I had this back of the, shelf idea that I'd never really done anything with. And it turns out it was The Chosen this concept of
Yeah.
Jesus and the relationship with the disciples. And so the rest is history. But I love hearing stories like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I saw a little short interview with him as well, and I liked how he was talking about how they kind of got away from the Hollywood aspect of it because, whoever's holding the purse strings kind of has the power there. And so it's completely crowdfunded. It is the largest media crowdfunding project ever that's happened. And I liked the way he was talking about it, where he said the story that they were trying to tell is too important to have some Hollywood bias put on it and a spin put on it. And so I like that he's trying to keep it as grounded as possible. And again, the first 2 episodes are fantastic, and I would definitely recommend watching. There's an app that you can get on your phone.
Yeah.
You can watch it where they're trying to make it as easy for anyone to watch it, so it's completely free. There's no sign up or anything. Just download the app and start watching. You can watch it on your phone, or you can throw it to any sort of streaming TV, Roku, Apple TV, whatever, and it's definitely worth watching.
Yeah, it really is easy to set up. I mean, it takes almost less than a minute, really, honestly.
Yeah, and Dallas says it's season 2 just started, and they've done 3 episodes already released for season 2, and he said that season 2, episode 2, kind of tells his story a little bit, or it's very, very similar, and he talks a lot after that episode, more about this, about his big bomb that he had, and just how it altered his life pretty drastically, and. So, it's good stuff, y'all. We really do encourage. But one of the things I love about it is just the relationships and the reality that just is between the characters, which are all characters And that's another thing. It just brings a little bit of the personality. And so you're just not reading scripture for black and white or red and white words. It's the actual, you just say, again, it's not 100%. Nobody knows we weren't there, but it sure does bring a lot more color to it.
It makes it come alive in a way that you can really relate to it, which I think is super important.
Oh, huge.
Super important.
So good stuff. Excellent stuff. We're here today with Miss Monica Harris, our business administrator here at the finance. What is your official title?
Official title is business manager / treasurer.
Yes, she signs my checks, so be nice to her.
So not office manager, just the business manager.
Okay.
Yeah, we're new acquaintances because I hadn't gotten a chance to meet her yet.
Yeah. So you've been with us for
5 months
now.
5
months. Oh, wow.
Time flies by when you're having fun.
Is that what we're doing?
Of course we are.
We're learning as we go.
Yep.
Yeah, because you and Patrick came on right about the same exact time, too.
We sure did.
Yeah.
Our eyes were big, and we've been running since we got here.
Basically.
So, welcome to the staff at Northside, and tell us a little bit about what you wrote down, just in case if someone's listening, they've been a member of Northside for a long, long time. Miss Peggy Nace had that position for
23 years.
Yeah, I was going to say.
25?
Almost, around 20. Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
so you're the first person that's been in that office for a while, and so tell us exactly what you do here at the church.
Okay, so what I do is I check the mail and look for bills for invoices. I get checks in the mail. And then I take those checks and I enter them into our contributions. And especially after Sunday, we have our offerings. We'll open the safe. We'll count that money, enter it into everybody's account under contributions, and then make sure it matches everything in our general ledger, and then take it to the bank, deposit it, all that good stuff. And then kind of monitoring all the accounts for everybody too, making sure everybody stays on budget. They're giving me the correct purchase orders when they're wanting to spend money in their funds, and asking for receipts for all these purchases. And just trying to keep all the finances kind of in check. So, we have a lot of committees to oversee me, but I kind of do that on the daily. Like I'll daily check the bank accounts. I'll daily check the credit accounts. And then constantly having questions, whether it's, how do I sell my stocks to help and contribute to, can you help me with my 2019 W-2s? So I do, all the taxes, I do all the payroll. which is actually a lot easier than what it used to be, because now that we're no longer with the Methodist Church, there's a lot of less paperwork.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot easier. So Peggy had everything kind of cleaned up for me. And so now I'm just with one bank account with one church, and we don't have all the other, because there's, other properties we used to own.
Yeah.
And then we'd have the landlord, and have to deal with all the, the mechanics of the house and dealing with. Right now we do have one that we're dealing with, like some plumbing and housing or roofing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's me making sure that we get the bills, everything's taken care of, paid for, received, checked off, and that kind of stuff.
So what do you do on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday?
It rolls over.
I thought that was just your Monday.
No. So, I'd like it to be, but I've never been able to do that. So Peggy had it set up where she would do, like, on Monday, she would just do the contributions from the previous Sunday. Then Tuesday, she would do the online giving. So I've compiled that now to do all the giving on Monday, to get it all entered, and that way all my banking kind of lines up pretty good. So then it'll roll over sometimes to Tuesday, and I still get, kind of things in the mail that I'm still trying to get the Methodist name off of. So that's a whole nother battle.
So you mentioned the online giving, and that's something that I do personally, and it's really convenient. Is that much different in terms of process for you? More difficult, easier? It's just another thing to do?
It's quite easy, actually, because all I'm doing is receiving a report and entering it into the proper name, who contributed under what account, meaning if it's for our new mission right now, Free for Christ mission, or our general budget, but also where the reports are just, very clean. So I just have to make sure, there's certain reporting how we deposit things that we want, the accountant wants to match up. So I can't just enter everything and have it free range. I've kind of have to, do it per, it's not even set up per date. It's when the people actually set it up, because it's all under the contributors. It's, I kind of just take it as I receive it, but it is a lot easier because it's direct, meaning the name, the account, and everything just kind of match up, and it's just kind of instant. All I'm doing is just entering it in, and I'm done.
Well, and it's convenient on our side. I was just curious if it was on yours too.
No, none at all. And so when me and Glenn were actually talking about this, when we were talking about our new system, and he was like, hey, how is this going to work down the road when, youth may want to contribute to whether it's a mission trip or it's an actual trip. We'll be able to have online giving for those opportunities to make parents know, hey, this is coming up.
That's great.
And, just to be able to, and we can track it, and it's just so much easier. And it'll be, just Glenn will be able to see who's paid, who has not. This is fine, or we need to do another fundraiser. Just the accuracy and the instant it's there. It's awesome.
Yeah, so in the future, when we go on like youth trips or mission trips, and people will have the option to pay online, through that online system, which we've never had for that, which will be wonderful. It really will be. So we're glad that that's up and rolling. And you mentioned a new system, and a lot of people don't know this, but we use a database system and a financial system here at the church called Shelby.
Right.
And I think it's Shelby Systems is their official name.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. And we've had Shelby forever and a day, but they have upgraded and updated their systems, which they needed to do. And so we are in the middle. Like I know you was doing a conversion today of some of this. So that was,
we've got a meeting tonight, and, I want to be able to show the board, where we stand financially. Mm-hmm. And so this morning I actually converted all of our information from our old system into the new system, and it is in the cloud. So I can access this information from my home, from anywhere, obviously with my password and credentials, but so it's not just anybody can get in there, but it's just convenient. Like if I did have a, sick child and I needed to make a quick getaway or, anything, I can still do my job if I, can just get online, do anything in the cloud. So it's just a lot more convenient. And the reports that it spits out are just so much more accurate and just on point.
And on the financial side, it's very safe. I mean, they've done a ton of research and practice, so it's really safe. It's really good. It's a wonderful thing. And also, we're going to get the membership module with it. And that's going to be better for the staff. We've already had
that'll be
it a
better
little
for
bit.
the whole congregation. Not
Yeah,
just the
that's
staff.
that's where I was going to go with this. Is one, the staff. I mean, we'll be able to work with groups and lists and distribution and queries and all kinds of things that we did not have before, and we can do all that, like you said, at home if we have to. So, and then like Patrick brought up, there's going to be an app come that the church member will have access to and be able to use, like a pictorial directory or something like that.
And
so.
it does. It's going to have the picture. It'll have their pictures, all their information. If they're on the way to deliver something, they can just pull it up on their phone, and there's their email address, phone number, and they can just call, hey, I'm on my way. Here's your, whatever we might be dropping off for them.
But any sort of forms, sign-ups, anything like that, you'll just be able to do right from your app. And
isn't that great?
It'll make things so much easier for
We're about
everybody.
to lose some paper and save some trees.
There we go.
And it's going to be instant, so it's going to be wonderful.
Well, I'll be honest, and I feel a little outnumbered here because I'm the only non-staff member in the room. But that's
why we need your opinion.
That's right.
We need somebody from the outside.
Well, I think this falls in the category of stuff you may not be aware of, but helps the church run. And these are things that are really super critical. I've actually worked on staff at a church before, so I'm well aware of all the things that not all the congregants know about. But it's just it's similar to businesses and how things run. You don't, as a client or customer, you don't need to know about how everything works, but you need to know that it works. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. And for us to do ministry, for us to help people, all the things that people think about when they think of church, there's a lot that goes into that. I mean, you as staff members all know that, but it's good, I think, to be reminded as a member of the body that, we as Northside Church are not just sitting still. We're actually moving. Things are changing in the background with systems and technology.
Improving, definitely.
All of that stuff makes it better and easier for us to do the ministry and do God's work.
Especially after we've had this last year, because we don't pass offering plates in church right now, still, even at this point. And so I know a lot of people are giving online or mailing their checks in, doing those kinds of things. And some are still dropping in baskets, that kind of thing. But if we'd not had this system and have it updated where we could move forward in the future too, it could have been a detrimental thing. Right now, we're financially very, very healthy here at this church. But if people didn't have a way, it would have been a little tougher sledding, I'm afraid.
I agree, definitely.
Well, Monica, you've not always done this. You weren't just a professional church business manager sitting at the house waiting for a call. What else have you done in your life?
I'm a retired pastry chef. So I retired from the field about 10 years ago after we ran Dumplings Restaurant for a while, and I was the manager of that before we were the owners. So I've been in the hospitality industry for about 22 years when I retired. I started pretty young.
So if you've ever had any of that delicious strawberry cake from Dumplings, you know who to thank.
Well, and that's your mom too. She's like, my birthday's coming up. Can I just get a little one? So I was like, I winked at her and I was like, yes, ma'am, I'll take care of you.
She does bring stuff to the staff occasionally.
Yeah, I need to do better about that. But everybody's dieting.
I know keto is the bane of my existence right now.
Yeah.
I'd be just cruel. But like,
people just want to look good in their wedding pictures.
So yeah, I had a little time there where I still kind of play here and there. I enjoyed the heck out of it. But, when I started here, I didn't have as much free time. I was so focused on just learning this job and getting all the systems in place. And so I'm finally leveling out now, but I don't have any like per se people ordering or, anything like that. I just do it for fun. And that's where your mom was like, strawberry cake.
And you have a family as well.
I do. I have a 16-year-old son, Gavin, and a 14-year-old Riley. They think they're grown.
Of course they do.
Didn't we all when we were 16?
I agree. So I give them a lot of grace. They're good kids. They got good grades. Their attitudes are good. So they make my job a little easier when they do that.
Yeah.
But they're still teenagers. We love them. We just wrap our arms around them and to help move them forward.
And your husband, Ben, is part of the
He is. He's a co-founder of the Co, and he also is a CFO for PopVox, which is a nonpartisan website that controls how you can see how legislators are in your district. You can kind of follow through like where they're opposing, what they're for, and kind of follow along. And just it's a very non-transparent platform. Or no, it's a transparent. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Let's get a clean take on that.
Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, they. It's really good because right now, when politics got slowed down, where you weren't able to get a lot of people into Congress to vote, and there's a lot of things going back and forth. So this is where they're stepping in to try to kind of help and clean it up a little bit.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, good deal. We're excited to have Monica on staff, that's for sure. And not just because of her baking abilities. But y'all have been members of the church and we've been a part of Northside for a while. And the kids are in the youth group and they've been coming for a long time.
Yeah, Boy Scouts is what kind of got us started, and then youth. So Glenn was a good... I call him a fisherman because he reeled them in really good, and I know he's always looking out for them. So thank you, Glenn. But yeah, the kids really. This is why we came here, is because of the family that it gave to the kids. So when I know I'm not around, I've got other people looking out for them. So it's been a second wonderful family.
Well, and y'all went on a ski trip with us once too, and I was like, we got to have them here a lot more often. They're fun to have around. So y'all are a lot of fun.
I mean, that's what it should be. Just watching them kids and having fun, just making sure they don't hurt each other. That's really what it's about.
Well, thank you for all the work you do of keeping us financially balanced and safe. And
just keep those receipts coming in, or I'm not going. Yeah. I'll hold your paycheck until you have all your receipts turned in.
I'm actually...
You're pretty good.
Pretty good about that. I try to be.
Patrick's great. He just doesn't know the account numbers yet, so I'll get him a list of those accounts when we get all switched.
I'm still learning.
You'll have grace, I promise.
In youth ministry, there's two people they tell you to make friends with instantly and do everything you can to help them make their job easier. Your position's one of them, the business man, and then the custodians is the other.
True.
So
because they can get you anything you need in the door.
That's right.
A night after some marshmallow dodgeball, they're not always happy humans. So.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Marshmallows smear on the floor and get in the carpet, and our VBS. They don't like glitter.
Nobody likes glitter or cleaning up glitter anyway.
That's right.
That's for sure.
But thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And welcome to being on staff, even though it's 5. We're not even 5 months old here at the podcast. So you've been around as long as we have. So so glad to have you here. And if you ever have any questions for Monica, you can contact her here at the church. She's here Monday through Fridays, like 8:30 to 4 or 9 to 4. What is your...
Usually, 8:30 to 4.
Yeah, all right.
It's usually Monday through Thursday I'm trying, if I can get it done.
Yeah.
I just stay longer on days if I need to. Right. And that's why the timing, if I need to be here for anybody, if they need me to meet them or call me... my schedule is very flexible, especially with my kids being older. So I know it's an office hours kind of thing, but I am available. So no worries.
All right. So Monica, there's something we like to do with all the staff members. We like to ask you 3 very important questions, and you have 30 seconds to answer all 3.
Okay.
So this is off the top of your head.
Okay.
Favorite book of the Bible?
Gosh, that's not fair to throw that on the first one. There's so many.
66 to be exact.
I can't just pick one.
Well, pick 2.
That's almost harder.
I know. I can't limit it.
All right, we'll do this. Favorite character of the Bible?
Noah.
And favorite story, like childhood story?
Noah. Yeah.
So.
And that just goes back to my kids and just having to read things just the pictures and their child. And that's where I get struggling from, is because I got so many memories of like teaching the kids things. Yeah. So even as I was learning it, I'm like, I remember that. But like teaching the kids and seeing their faces light up and learning things. And then it was more with Riley and like taking those actions in real life and seeing it. Those are the proud moments. So that's where I'm kind of like, there's so many. She would always ask a lot more questions than Gavin.
Yeah.
So it's more of a like, but yeah. Sorry.
Well, in favorite Bible verse, do you have a favorite Bible verse at all?
I always go, the Lord's Prayer has always been something that a friend of a family member had brought me to a church, and she engraved in a Bible for me, and she said, if there's any advice I can give you as grown up, just always just remember the Lord's Prayer, no matter what. You say that before you go to bed, and you are covered, and you will wake up the next day rejuvenated. So it's just that little bit of advice that has stuck with me since I was like 6.
That's awesome.
great.
Yeah. So, and the kid, that was one of the first things that, like, when we would do, say a blessing before we eat, the kids would do the Lord's Prayer, and I'm like, okay, now what else are we, what else are we thankful for? So just expanding that and moving it around, especially through kids' eyes, it was always fun for me.
All right. Well, good deal. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And y'all can give Monica a holler, and maybe she'll tell you what her favorite book of the Bible is.
If it's 6, 7.
Very good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Patrick, we still working on keeping our hood good, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's going through the end of April. So keep bringing that stuff to the church, and we'll get it to the kids.
Pretty neat stuff, and definitely keep bringing stuff up to the mission box or help them out. And that's pretty cool. And next week, we have Mitzi coming in. And Mitzi and Kevin, well, all of us are a part of a group that are working on on the youth musical offering, or whatever that's going to be, for this year. And we're going to talk a lot more about that.
Yep.
And share with everyone kind of what the plan with that is and what that looks like. We are doing something. It will not be at the normal time in the 1st of June. Looks like it's going to be kind of around the time school starts, late summer, early fall. But we're going to do something. We feel like it's an offering that we can give back to the church at a good time to do it.
Yeah, we've talked about change a lot on the podcast here, and I think that it's the time of change. And so without giving everything away, we're going to be doing a few things a little differently. Yeah. Some of them we have to do.
Yeah, COVID's kind of forced our hands into doing things a little
Absolutely.
differently. So,
but it's like I've said before, it's a good opportunity to try some new things, to see maybe where God has us do some things a little bit differently and fresh and new. We definitely want to make it something that is memorable and ministry for the youth.
Yeah,
as it's always been since the very beginning, and it's we're looking at something perhaps as unique as our group of youth are every year. A unique group. So
I don't know if that's possible. We'll try.
We'll get close maybe, but yeah, we'll talk about that, and it'll be good to have that conversation.
And then not too long after that, we have Noreen Trevs coming in, and we've talked a lot about her last week, and really talked about having her come and talk about mental health issues post-COVID, and still kind of in the midst of things, right, and a few others. And so Patrick told us about, I know, I'd spend too much time with y'all. I get y'all, I'm worse than your mother. I'll be calling you Baxter soon. So, but Patrick told you last week that we now have an Instagram.
Yep.
And we have an email. So if you have questions, because she would love to hear your questions that you may have specifically. So if you're listening to the podcast and you have some questions that you'd like to ask Noreen, please submit those to us. And Patrick will tell us again here in just a second what those are. But submit those to us and we'll get them to them. And make sure that you're listening to these and liking them and sharing them and that kind of stuff and getting the word out. Because I really feel like when we did the marriage little thing we did, this will be just as important.
Absolutely.
And really encourage a lot of folks. So
yeah, the Instagram is Northside NOW podcast, and you can also email us at podcast@northsidejackson.com. So get in touch with us either way.
So yeah, pretty good stuff. Glad to have had Monica with us today.
Yeah,
that was a good deal. She's a lot of fun. Nice to have her here in the building with us, and very professional and quick, and does everything. She's on it, man.
And makes fantastic cakes.
And makes
not that I know, but I've been told.
Well, the last youth musical we had, she did the cake for.
That's true.
So, and it was awesome. So,
well, thanks for podcasting with me today, guys. It's been fun.
Always.
Yeah, been good times.
Always.
And thank you all for listening. And please make sure you hit up our social medias, and we'll see y'all next week on Northside NOW.